Hey guys, how's it going? This is Alberto with A to Z Tactical Academy, and in this maintenance video, I am going to show you how I clean and lubricate the bolt carrier group in my AR. For AR pattern rifles that have direct impingement gas tubes, right, there is a little bit of the gas that comes back from about mid-range in the barrel, and that is what moves the bolt carrier group rearward, ejecting the spent casing and then loading a new round in the chamber from the magazine, right? Because of that, these gases are very hot and sometimes very dirty, especially if you have, low quality ammo or just powder residue or whatever. So the bolt carrier group tends to get really dirty just because it just receives a lot of these carbon and high temperature. Cleaning it is essential for the good operation of your AR. The barrel, the cleaning with the rod and other components of the AR don't get as dirty as the bolt carrier group. So today I'm going to show you how I clean and lubricate the bolt carrier group, disassembling it and putting it back together, give you some tips of what I use and what I don't use and why. So here it goes, right? So this is my AR, my competition AR. There's a few things that I cannot do in YouTube. I cannot show you how to disassemble it and put it back together. But if you own an AR pattern rifle, you probably already know what to do. So I'm just gonna flip this rifle around and show you that there is a pin right here. This one right here is the rear pin, and this is the front pin. To take the bolt carrier group, you only need to push this one like that. And then on this side, you're just gonna pull, where is it? Right here. I'm not seeing. You pull this out, this is gonna hinge open, and then you're going to pull the charging handle halfway and take the bolt carrier group. So again, I can't show you how to do that. You should know how to do this. So I'm just gonna take that bolt carrier group and have it on my table and show you all the cleaning procedures that I do. All right, so I've taken the bolt carrier group. This is what it looks like. This is the bolt carrier group of an AR pattern rifle. I typically don't clean the rest of the rifle that much. Every once in a while, yeah, I'll clean the trigger group. I don't have an MIL trigger group. I have one of those cartridge one-piece drop-in triggers, so it doesn't get that dirty, so I don't really care that much to maintain it. But this piece right here, yeah, this gets the most amount of maintenance. So let me aim the camera to my workbench, show you how to disassemble it and clean it. I use Hoppy's number 9. I've always used this thing. This has been around forever. So this is a good cleaner. I use this. I use an old toothbrush, just the nylon bristles. I don't go with like the brass bristles or the brass brush. I have the large pads. This is just to wipe things off. And to re-lubricate, I do not use oil like this, particularly because those hot gases that come back and push on this piece right here are very, very hot, right? So oils like this are really not made for super high temperatures. I like these in pistols, but for the bolt carrier group, I actually use bearing grease, synthetic Mobil 1 bearing grease, and I'll show you where to apply it. This stuff would last a lot longer in repeated long sessions of fire, long sessions of rapid fire, and it performs really well. It doesn't burn out that easy, so it protects it a little better. So to take it apart, I just use a nail or pocket knives, anything sharp. So you're going to pull this little retention pin right here, this cotter pin. It pulls off. It's really easy. Then the firing pin, if it should fall off, this one's kind of dirty because I've been shooting this AR for quite some time and I haven't cleaned it. So this is the firing pin. And then once you take the firing pin and that retention cotter pin, this should rotate very easily and come out. This right here. And then finally, this part. All right, guys, so before I start, never put your brush in the container of this stuff, right? Use another container to pour the solution. Now, these chemicals are very harsh on the skin, right? So if you handle chemicals, put gloves on. It's recommended. You never know what these are going to do to your hands. Some of them take the natural oils of your skin out. Some get absorbed by the skin and you get an allergic reaction or something like that. So always wear gloves. And then what I do is basically just get an old toothbrush and brush all the parts. You see how my gloves are starting to get really dirty. This dissolves the crud and the carbon deposits really well. Let's see the other parts. I don't spend a whole lot of time in making sure they're polishing clean or anything like that. I just kind of rub this over cotter pin, which, oh well, it's not an operating part, so it doesn't really need to be clean, but might as well. Here's the firearm pin. Okay. And then the ball carrier group. The rear part of the ball carrier group, I guess, doesn't need that much attention, but definitely the front part. In this AR, you can clearly see now here after I clean it, which parts rub against other parts, which parts have friction marks from, interacting with the upper. You can see right here the kind of the black paint has been polished off. Also right about there, it's shiny spots where the metal to metal contact interacts with the AR, right? So then put a little bit in here on the inside. Okay. Let this rest a little bit. Just clean my hands like this. And literally that is all I need. This doesn't go back into my container. This will get disposed. So I'm just going to leave it there for now and kind of rub these dry a little bit. Like I said, I don't spend a whole lot of time in these things, especially since, I shoot a lot, so they get dirty right away. So spending hours and hours and hours cleaning it, to me, it's just not worth it, since within a month's time, it's going to look exactly the same as it does today. So yeah, just clean this up. I first use a paper napkin, simply because the cotton pads are a little more pricey. These little guys here, these are great, but they cost a little more money. So anyway, you use whatever you can to clean these up. So one tool that I found really useful is this one here, the Clay Zion CRT. It's made by a company called Potash out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Right? It has holes where you can actually dump the firing pin and clean it if it's dirty on this side. It has a couple of sharp surfaces here which you can use to scrape hard deposits of carbon. So like on this side right here, I use the sharp end and just use it as a knife, kind of as a knife, if you will, just like this. And then for this part right here, this right here is to eliminate the carbon deposited on the this curvature, which is often hard to clean. You could use something like a scraping knife and just go like this all around it, right? But it's more difficult than just putting this way, closing it in, and then just kind of pinch with your fingers here and go against the sharp surfaces, and you can see how easily it removes the carbon deposits from that curvature, because it is made specifically to that shape. So these are the tools I use because they just make the job a little quicker, a little easier, especially like I said, when you have to clean these things often. So you can kind of see how it's eliminating some of the carbon deposits right there. So anyway, doing all that, that's about what I do. I don't ever worry about the position of these rings, these gaskets. I've seen other people recommending that you line them up in a specific way. Look, these are very loose. They're going to move inside the rifle anyway, and I've never had a problem. I've never worried about, really what they look like before I put it back together. So, in any case, it's time to put this one back together. So, to put it back together, one thing you have to make sure to put it back together is that you have to put this in the right orientation, right? It could go this way and it could go the other way too. So you could assemble it this way or rotate 180 degrees, I'm sorry, and put it back in. It will go in either way, but the operation of your rifle would not work. So if you look at this part right here on the front, the button goes to the left, the ejector goes to the right. So left, right. So line it up like this. It goes in and dump it in there. Come on. There it goes, right there. So now one thing you're going to notice is that there'll be there's a hole right here and I can see right through, right? That's where this piece goes. See? So left side, right side, left side, right side. You can see the hole in there. This piece drops in. This one doesn't have any direction. You can drop it any which way you want to. It drops right in there. If you don't line up those holes, it won't drop easily. So let me line them up perfectly. Oh, let's see. I went too far. There it goes. Right there. Once it's in, you got to rotate it 90 degrees. Either way, it doesn't matter which way you rotate it. Now I'm going to put the firing pin. Firing pin goes from the back. Put that in there. Okay. Then this guy goes in there. And completely through. Make sure that it's seated all the way through. Right there. All the way through so it doesn't have any clearances. And this is your function check. So this right here should not rotate anymore. The firing pin should not fall off. And as you extend the head of the bolt carrier group, it should slightly rotate with this cam, right? So again, the button's on the left. This little ejector piece goes on the right, left, right. That goes in there, cotter pin, firing pin. Lubrication. Here's what I do for lubrication. Again, I use Mobil 1 synthetic bearing grease and just basically an old toothpick. And I go over the surfaces that show metal to metal contact. That's it. That's all I do. So a little bit here, a little bit there. A little more grease. And then here, where there's some metal to metal contact, and a little more on this side. And that is literally all the lubrication that I do, because I don't want to make this all greasy so that the dirt that comes from the gases, from the gas tube, deposit all over this and make it even more dirty in a shorter amount of time. So literally is just wherever there is metal to metal marks that I put bearing grease, and that's all there is to it. There's a little bit here in the back, but not to worry too much about it. And this bolt carrier group is ready to go into the AR. So again, I can't show you how to put it together because of YouTube rules, but let me put it back together. Okay, here it is. So it's all pulled back together. You can kind of function check this a little bit. Please, please, please never function check with live rounds. Get yourself a pack of dummies, dummy rounds in 2 to 3, and function check with that. Make sure that you did assemble the ejector the right way. If you put it backwards, what will happen is your empty cases will not eject, right? So always be safe. This is all the lubrication I do. This will be ready for another 2,000 to 3,000 rounds. and then it'll get just as dirty, but I don't spend a whole lot of time in it. Keep training, be safe, have fun, and see you next time.